Okay. Good evening, everybody. So if you're staff watching this, or now or later, or if you're just somebody that happened to stumble across our YouTube channel, welcome and thanks for watching. This is the first all-hands meeting for Ponyville Ciderfest 2016. We're going to be covering general information for all staff, kind of straying away from department-specific issues. We'll leave the interdepartments to have their own meetings and talk about those things. So what we're going to be talking about here is, for the most part, going to be things that everybody needs to know: staff policies, rules, just general con information and stuff like that. So before we get started, we'll go ahead and so we've got a handful of our department managers and leadership in the calls. Corey, we'll let you go first.
Oh, good, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Corey. Dash Experience, if you know my pony name. I am the convention chair for Ponyville Ciderfest and a couple other shows. I've been doing this for a few years now. This is our third year running, and that's.
My name is Charlie Worthley. I'm the vice chair and PR director. I started working with Corey just going to be just about a year ago. I helped him out. My first con was last year was MLP-MSP. Corey brought me on to do Ciderfest last year, and then I did Winnie City with him, and then a whole bunch of just helping out with stuff in between. So yeah, let's see. Programming director. He is not here right now, so we'll go to Vivid, his assistant.
Hi there, my name is Vivid. I am. What is my phone's working right now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm Dave's kind of right-hand guy. I've worked on a handful of conventions before, including MLP-MSP1, MLP-MSP3. I've done GalaxCon. I've done room parties at Convergence, other things as well. And yeah, I'm helping out with main events this year.
Okay. On the programming side of things, head of special events is Danielle. Danielle, go ahead and say hi.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I've been attending Ciderfest for. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been attending Ciderfest since it first started, and I'm the head of special events. So, yay!
Thank you. We have our video gaming department head here, Frederick. Go ahead and say hi.
Hello.
Well, you follow instructions very well. What other cons have you worked, Frederick?
Let's see. I've done Ponyville Ciderfest last couple of years. Done MLP MSP for a couple of years, and Winnie City.
Thank you. And then let's see. I think that's everybody we have on the programming side, right? Kind of a connection between the two is our audio video head, Larsis.
Hi there, I'm Larsis. This thing's wrong. I'm the audio video lead for this con. I've been with MLP MSP since the start, Ponyville Ciderfest since the start. Worked Midwest 2 years at Con, and there's a few others that I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
That's bound to happen as time goes on. And then our operations division director is Server Rat.
Hi, I'm the operations division director. I've been with Ciderfest since last year, and I've staffed BronyCon, Everfree, all those cons. Yeah.
Thank you. Royal Guard department head is Matt Salutrik.
So hopefully you can actually hear me.
Yes.
I've been doing all right. I've been doing conventions for 12 years. Did Winnie City was my first pony convention. I've done everything from security to guest relations to logistics. Unless it's been head of a convention, I've pretty much done everything.
Okay. Registration department head, Mike Schaefer.
Hi guys, it's my first time being in the live stream, so hi to everybody. I'm the department head of registration. I was the assistant department head for Ciderfest last year and MLP MSP 2 years now, and that's about as far as my con experience goes for management. So other than that, many cons have been under my belt as far as going, so look forward to doing Ciderfest this year.
Okay. All right, thanks everyone. So other management that was not able to make it for the call. Let's see. We have Mike Smith is our vendor hall department head. Ashley Wagner is our department head for the con store. We've split them off into their own department this year just to make sure that they have their own people and can just worry about their own stuff. Aaron Frost is our kids programming department head. Let's see. Sarah Rogers is our tabletop gaming head, and lost my. Oh, there we go. And then Lucy Ryder is taking care of our hospitality department, which this year we split off into its own division. Then they're taking care of our green room, sponsor lounge, cider lounge, all that stuff. And then everything that's public relations related, the website, PR, artists, social media, photography, videography, all that stuff is all under me. So that's the kind of organization. If you guys have any questions about who you're working for or what your job is, you can find the staff list on our website. It's under ponyvilleciderfest.com. Just go to About and then Staff, and you can see the staff list there, so you can see it's color coded. It's pretty easy to figure out as far as who your boss is. So if you're not sure what your responsibilities or duties are, if your department hasn't had a meeting yet, check in with your department head. If they haven't had a meeting yet, they're doing that pretty soon here. Okay. So as a quick review, I just kind of want to just let everybody know that Corey, sorry, were you saying something?
Nope.
Okay. Our numbers for this year are looking good. Just in case anybody's been curious about always little things here and there that make people wonder about it. Unfortunately, we're not MLP MSP, and our venue didn't get sold out from under us. But one of the kind of the main concerns that I've seen some people having both in the staff chat and also just in the public ether is some of the craziness that's been going on in Milwaukee this year. Fortunately, I can say that hey, my laundry's dry. That has not been affecting our ticket sales, so that's a really good thing. We're basically par for par in course of last year. We still have more guests to announce. We still haven't. This coming weekend, we're going to be announcing what we currently have as our final booked guest of honor, and then after that, we're going to be announcing musicians and community guests and all that stuff. And so we're looking to meet or be higher than we were last year for attendance, which is an awesome thing because I know some cons have been down this year, so that's a super positive thing. Let's see. And I'm doing my best to keep an eye on the YouTube chat here. No, it's actually the worst laundry buzzard ever, but what can you do? Okay, so staffing expectations. So here's kind of the most important thing is just want to make sure everybody understands what it means to be on staff and what is expected from all staff members. So first thing is that your staff benefits consist of course, you get free attendance to the con, and so when you're not on shift, you can enjoy, all the general attendance convention stuff. Emphasis on general attendance, so that anything that is ticketed, like the gala, like the VIP cocktail hour, if you're not working these events, you must purchase a ticket to be able to enter them. Just to make sure that's super clear for everybody, especially the gala because it's a charity event. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can by our charity, and so if you are on staff and not on shift, you are welcome to go to the gala. You just have to buy a ticket like everybody else, unless you're working it, but then you'll be on staff, on shift. So then you get your staff shirt, and if we collected everybody's sizes, of course, when you did your staff badge registration. I'm happy to say everybody has gotten their staff badge, so yes, thank you very much. If we will be getting extras, so that in case something happens to your shirt, spill or rip or some other calamity, we'll have some spares there. But yes, everybody gets a staff shirt, and then access to discounted staff housing. And so if there's anybody who has not signed up for a room and still needs one, to the best of my knowledge, there's like one or two people that need a room that haven't gotten a spot in one yet. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't gotten a spot in a staff room yet, that's because I don't know that you need one. Maybe which I got from when you fill out your application, if you said whether or not you needed staff housing or not. So if you need staff housing, and we haven't talked very recently about you not being on the list, and you do need staff housing, tell me very, 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 very soon, because that stuff is all about to be finalized. But yeah, and then of course the behind the scenes access and just the ability to be part of making something awesome happen. That's everything you get for being on staff. So what do you have to do to get all these great things? Well, so the first thing is that we ask, as a general rule, that everybody that is on staff contribute a total of 20 hours of your time over the course of the weekend. Now, what that means is any time that you are helping out the convention, which includes setting up on Thursday and then breaking down Sunday night after it's over, and if there's anything left to do Monday, all that time should be going towards that 20-hour total. And your department managers, when they're writing your schedule, should be accounting for all that stuff and everything. So if you get your schedule and you're only scheduled for like 12 or 14 hours, check with your department manager, make sure that they are aware of that. And if we get into a situation where departments are overstaffed and there's just too many people to make, to be able to give everybody enough responsibilities to fill up your 20 hours, we may try and see if we can get some people to help out with other departments that may be understaffed. There's always stuff to do. So we want to make sure everybody's putting in your fair share. So if you need any assistance or have any questions about your hours, make sure that you let us know. I want to make sure that there's a lot of Slack activity happening here. I just want to make sure you guys know that there is a YouTube chat, just so we're not making Slack blow up, especially with our message limit on there. If you have any just general conversation you want to have over the course of the video here, just go ahead and use the YouTube chat, because that's a more central place to do this. I'm actually going to mute my Slack right now because it keeps on going off. I keep on looking at it. Okay, Corey, or any managers have anything to add or anything to ask just in terms of the hours requirement?
You can work more than 20 hours. Just saying.
Yes. The 20 is a minimum of what we ask for. If you would like to volunteer to work more, you are certainly welcome, as long as you are getting one, which we'll get to in a minute here.
Yeah, the general rule of thumb too for Thursday for setup and Sunday for teardown is that you are to be scheduled for those times. Just make sure that you're not coming in like, hey, I'm here at noon and I did some till 8. That doesn't count for 8 hours. And you need to make sure that you check with your department manager that you are scheduled for the appropriate time for those setups or for registration opening on Thursday. Similar to teardown's usually about 2 to 3 hours afterwards. So if it's throughout the weekend you're short an hour or two here, that teardown usually helps cover that, because we always need anybody helping tear down about 9, 10 o'clock that evening.
Okay. So general behavior. As far as behavior is concerned, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Everybody, because you're on staff, you've signed up for a staff badge. As part of the staff badge, you agree to our staff policies. Everything that you're going to find in our staff policy list is all general common sense stuff, I believe, in most people's opinion. Like, don't be intoxicated on shift. Don't be, if you're in your staff shirt, basically, as far as I'm concerned, it's if you're in your staff shirt, if you're identified as being a staff member and you're out in convention space, then the rules still apply to you. If you wanna have a drink or whatever, for the most part, you just go back to your room and just change. Because when you're in your staff shirt, even if you're not on shift, you're still representing the con. So we don't want to make the con look bad in any way.
Just to before you get on, there was a question on the feed here. 2 questions that popped up. One was if you cannot make it on Thursday, that is completely okay. All of your hours will just be divvied up between that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Again, the 20 hours is good. We're flexible here and there based on schedules. But yeah, generally those 20 hours will be filled between that Friday, Saturday, Sunday then. There was one other question I thought I saw here. When to report on Friday? That really depends on your department and what time they need you there. If you have a specific time that you cannot make it until Friday, just let your department manager know and they can schedule that out for you. And then what time would setup start Thursday? Setup on Thursday starts, I think it's contracted at 5 p.m. We have people who come by earlier who are more than welcome to if they want to help with some of the sponsor bag stuff, with some of the registration things before we open up. So then again, it also really depends on your department if they're asking you to be there at noon to start setting up before registration opens at 4 or 6, for example, or if someone wants you to get there to help with AV tech stuff before we load in. So those things can really depend on your department. Cool. That's it.
As a side note to that, everybody, and when you were brought on to staff, which I believe, I basically did most of the the majority of the hiring for staff people. So you and I may have had a conversation if you had any like special availability issues or conflicts, like if you have classes or or just anything like that. Make sure that you repeat your availability, especially if it comes to having to schedule around your other real life stuff. Make sure that your department head are all aware of that, because it's entirely possible that that information may not have made it to them.
Hey, Charlie, we can't understand you.
Did my audio break again? All right, hang on.
Yep.
Wait, I thought that wasn't just me. I thought it was me.
Yeah, I thought it was me for a little bit, too. It still doesn't work.
How about now? Any better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
It's better?
Yes.
Yep.
Much better.
Okay, so where you lost me there, but in short, just make sure your department heads are aware of any scheduling conflicts that you may have. Let's see. Okay, so in terms of just behavior and rules, I'm just gonna in case anybody when you were registering for your staff didn't actually read the rules, I'm just gonna cover the bullet points real quick. And this is all available if you go to our website. It's on under the volunteer. There's a sub link there for our volunteer policy here. So 1, maintain a professional and helpful attitude in all dealings with attendees, exhibitors, guests, and fellow volunteers. People come here to have a good time. Do not be in a grumpy mood. And if you are in a grumpy mood, don't let anybody know it, please and thank you. Be knowledgeable of the convention. Obviously, everybody should know what they need to know for their department, but please do what you can to kind of know as much about the convention as you can. If you're in a staff shirt, you're going to be a magnet for people who have questions about anything, as far as everything from, hey, where's the bathroom, to where's the cider lounge, to how much are autographs and stuff like that. Try and keep a con book in your back pocket if you can. Hopefully there's going to be enough to go around, and just do everything you can to answer anybody's questions. If your answer is I don't know, make sure you follow it up with, but let's go find out. We want to make sure everybody's being taken care of. Number 3, perform your duties to the best of your abilities and show up a little early for your shift/duties. Just general common sense stuff. Just please do your best thing. Dress appropriately. In terms of dress code, for the most part, some departments have exemptions to this, but it's going to be as far as what your is going to be your staff shirt, and then pants, jeans, slack, skirt. I mean, just any sort of, as long as it doesn't look like you just rolled out of bed. As far as like your pants or whatever your leg coverings are, as long as they're not like looking like that they survived an apocalypse. That would be great. Be sober and clear-headed. Kind of goes without saying, but need to say it anyways. Obviously it's a convention, and obviously it's Ciderfest, and so there will be drinking, but please make sure that you have completely gotten rid of any trace of such activities whenever you make it to your next shift. Be humble and modest in your position. Here's kind of the most important thing about this. A lot of people who work on conventions, we spend more time, with some of the guests of honor and some of the community guests and everything, and that's definitely one of the one of the side perks of doing this kind of thing. But under no circumstances is anybody to expect like free autographs and things like that. I know for a fact that Drew, our guest relations head, I know that if he hears like a staff member like ask for a free autograph, he gets very irate. So just to make sure that everybody's clear on that, unless some sort of like special arrangements have been made, which trust me, about them if they have been made. So if you're not sure, they probably haven't. Staff members are not entitled to anything more than the simple benefits that I talked about at the very start. So just make sure everybody's clear on that. And finally, get plenty of sleep, plenty to eat, and stay clean, which brings us to the golden rule of 6-2-1. And Corey, you explain this better than anybody that I've come across before.
So yeah, I mean 6-2-1 is pretty simple. I mean, it's your 6 hours of sleep, it's your 2 meals a day, it's your 1 shower. For the love of God, stick to that regiment. The sleep, I understand, it's flexible, things happen, we get it. But hearing people say, oh, I was up for 36 hours, I did this, we'll put you to bed. And it's not a mixed match of the things. So it's not just like, oh, I need a total of 9 together, so I had 4 meals and a shower, I can get 4 hours of sleep. Not acceptable. It's just the rule of 9, the 6-2-1. It's your 6 hours of sleep, your 2 meals per day, your 1 shower. I have sent people up to their rooms to shower because they stink. I have sent people away because they haven't eaten. I have sent people away because they have not slept enough. Those things can and will happen. So please, please, please adhere to that. It's very simple things. We give you ample time and breaks to make sure that you're showering, you're eating, you're sleeping. And if we're not, let us know, because that's something we can fix. Otherwise, you're probably just drinking too much.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so real quick, just to kind of come back to the dress code. Like I say, some departments have their own regulations for dress code. So what I was saying before is the general rule, but check with your department manager to see if there's any special special differences for your department. Like guest relations has a whole different dress code, of course. AV might have a more of an all black dress code or something like that if that's what Larsis would like to do. A lot of people have been asking, well, it's Halloween weekend, so what about cosplay? What about decorating, things like that? The way I kind of look at it is, as long as you are still identifiable as being a staff member, which means that you have your staff shirt on and you can see that it says staff, whether or not you have that over whatever your costume is, or that if you have ears or tail or whatever else that you have on, any other costume accessories. Corey, would you agree that that's okay, especially considering the weekend? Or
I'm generally fine with that as an overall rule of thumb, even if it wasn't a Halloween weekend thing. As long as you're visible, as long as people know that you're staff while you're on shift, I think that's acceptable. There can be certain exceptions to that rule. An example, kids programming is super kid-centric. They don't even necessarily need the staff shirt. For example, I would expect them to be more in costume all weekend with just a badge, so on and so forth. But generally speaking, yes, ears, tails, what have you, and have your stuff over it. It's a TLDR of I agree.
Awesome. Pardon me, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat. It says, are people people paying attention to the chat room here? Just because I'm not really able to follow it super well, just because I'm looking at other stuff.
I've been looking out for questions.
Okay, cool, awesome, thank you. Okay, so coming back to our general policies. If anybody has any medical or physical restrictions, just please let us know. Of course, we will do our best to accommodate you and work around them, no problem. Okay, so this is super important. This convention, we have, of course, our published zero tolerance anti-harassment policies that we have for the convention. That goes just as much, if not more so, for staff. Just to not worry about having to paraphrase it, I'm just going to read this because to me, harassment is a big enough deal. I just want to make sure that we take a second on this and just really focus on this specifically, because to me this is a really important issue. So all volunteers have a right to work in an environment free from the demoralizing effects of harassment or unwelcome, offensive, or improper conduct. Sexual harassment or harassment based on gender, color, religion, national origin, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, expression, disability, or veteran status, or any other status protected by law will simply not be tolerated at Ponyville Ciderfest. Types of improper behavior or prohibited conduct includes unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, obscene gestures, sending sexually explicit, racially offensive, or derogatory emails or voicemails or Slack messages, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual or offensive nature, such as uninvited touching of a sexual nature or sexually related comments. Without getting into details, if you are not absolutely certain, I would just say don't flirt over Slack. If you're getting close enough to somebody on staff and you feel that flirting is warranted, make sure that you're very clear on that. I would highly suggest doing that over your own personal communication, and make sure that you stick to these policies as I've just read them in the process. Volunteers to promptly report incidents of harassment to their immediate department head, manager, director, or convention chair if there is a procedure for investigating and resolving issues of harassment during and within Ponyville Ciderfest, and it will involve the assistance of the City of Milwaukee Police Department. All reported incidents will be investigated with an effort to keep the source of the report confidential, except where we find disclosure necessary for resolution. Where inappropriate conduct has occurred, specific disciplinary actions up to and including termination of volunteer status or revocation of attendee badge will be implemented. Any volunteer or attendee who, in good faith, reports a possible violation of this policy will be protected from any form of retaliation. Sorry to bore you with a bunch of drivel there, but this is a really important issue to me, so thanks for bearing with me through that.
There's a question within that. Question, who should we report to if we're harassed by attendees? First and foremost, it's pretty much going up that chain. Go to your manager. That department manager will then go to either our Royal Guard coordinator or Charlie or myself. At the end of the day, if that happens, it will end up at my or Charlie's desk, in which then we can handle the situation, take care of it that way, get in touch with hotel, Milwaukee PD, whatever steps need to be taken. And one final bit on this, please note that, be overly cautious about it in the fact that you may not think it is, but it's up to that person who's complaining on whether or not they think the problem is there. So that's the best way to put that, is be overly cautious about it. That's really all I can say.
Definitely. So next on terms of rules and policies is something that's called basically confidentiality and non-disclosure. Now this basically means that as you're working with the convention, both in terms of information coming from the convention and also potentially in terms of information that could be coming from our guests, guests of honor, community guests, maybe people that come with the guests, their entourage or agents or whatever. When you are on staff, you have the high potentiality of being exposed to privileged information. Maybe somebody mentions like like a role or something that they have coming up that hasn't been released yet or whatever, or people might be people and maybe they'll speak candidly about different situations or individuals or whatever. When you are on staff, you want to make sure that kind of what happens in Ciderfest staff stays in Ciderfest staff. So if you come across information, you definitely do not want to go to your blog or your YouTube channel or whatever and say, guess what I just heard this person say at Ciderfest, yada yada yada. Because that's depending on the nature of what we're talking about, that could result in some bad news for you. So just to be super clear on that. In case anybody is wondering, it goes without saying, but of course all volunteers are at will if you want to and or need to quit at any time. We especially if in terms of personal needs or nature, like if you have something you have to go take care of. I mean, your personal, your professional lives, take precedence over this. Just please let us know and give us notice so that we can take care of and make up coverage and things like that. Again, depending on what we're talking about, we might say, okay, you need to leave, no problem. You might have to give up some or all of your staff benefits as a result of that. But I don't just if you have something you need to go take care of, by all means take care of it. Just please let your superiors know so that whatever your remaining responsibilities were can be covered appropriately. Thank you. So that's basically the summary of. Now there's a lot more fine print and subtext on the volunteer and rules page. I highly recommend everybody read the full thing, just to possibly take care of any questions. But those are the important bullet points to me. Corey, anything else you want to call out?
Not off the top of my head, unless you're going to mention later on anything about termination, badge pulling, any kind of issues at con, going through all those kind of more serious scenarios.
Well, no, this is a good point to transition into that, so I'll let you take over.
Okay. So these are usually the couple bits that I kind of go over that I'm not generally, but really serious about. Probably most serious you'll ever see me at con, prior con, after. Two main topics when terminating someone from Ciderfest, whether on staff, upper management, lower management. The only two people that have that ability are myself and Charlie. That is pre-con, that is at con, that is after con. You guys can recommend and come to us with these issues, and we'll gladly take these things into consideration. But at the end of the day, the two that make that call are myself and Charlie. This also goes with badge pulling at the event. Because evidently people pay money for these things, and there needs to be a level of severity before anything like this happens. I have only had to pull, I think, one attendee badge in my career at Ciderfest, and through all of my cons, I've maybe more than a dozen in all of the cons I've worked in the 10 years I've been doing it. So it takes a lot to get to that point. The thing I stress highly on this is that if I find out or Charlie finds out that someone has threatened to pull a badge, that screams that say they will, pulls the badge, anything like that, that's not myself or Charlie. So the vice chair or con chair, yours will subsequently be pulled by me in a heartbeat. You'll lose your staff housing. You'll lose that discount. You will be asked to leave. It's that serious of a matter. We're here about fun. We're here about making sure things work out. We're here about talking things over. So unless it's an immediate emergency, an immediate thing that warrants that, then it won't happen. And if it's immediate and it warrants that, myself or Charlie will be there. That's it.
Okay. Matt, from a security royal guard standpoint, is there anything else that you kind of want to go over policy-wise? Anything that you think is worth mentioning on on an all-hands level that we haven't already covered in terms of rules, procedures, policies, things like that?
Not really. I mean, everything as far as like general stuff that you've gone over is pretty much similar stuff I would have touched on. But on the if people are looking for hours, I can guarantee you security will not turn you away. We will always put feet to work.
There you go. And noted. Cool. Go ahead, Corey.
Sorry, there's just one more question on the thing here. It said, can I, medical any staff I see that are obviously suffering from the effects of, say, not following the 6 in the 621 rule? A little bit of a longer answer than you probably think. The short answer is no. If you see someone that's not in your department, please let that manager know, or a manager who is on shift, who then can get in touch with myself or Charlie. If it is one of your staff, however, you may send them to bed. You may send them to get food. You may send them to go shower. You have that ability. Please let us know right away if you do see someone who's tired or passed out or anything like that that is suffering from the effects of the 621 rule, and we'll gladly take care of that.
Quick side note in terms of something that just Matt made me think of. I know a lot of like anime cons, especially, is something that I see a lot, where people will just show up at con and be like, "Hey, I'd like to help. Where can I go to help?" We've got a really good size staff this year, especially compared to last year, and so I don't believe that we will be looking for like show up at the registration desk and people say, "Hey, I want to volunteer," because Corey, unless you have a differing opinion on that, we haven't done it before, and so I'm just kind of going off of experience on that one. I just don't think that we have the need for that.
No, you're accurate. We're at staff right now, which is a considerable amount. We won't need any other volunteers at the show.
Yep.
So magically, but we'll cross that bridge if it comes.
Yeah. So yeah, if anybody shows up at registration or office or whatever and says like, "Hey, I want to volunteer. How can I help?" Check in case you think that if you think that they could potentially be useful in a unique way, but the general answer is probably going to be, "No, we're good, thank you."
Hey, Charlie,
Okay.
just a quick question I saw on the pop-up chat.
Yes.
And this is directed towards my department, really, anyway. If parents buy a badge for their children, are they allowed into con events as well? And I from experience, I thought no, that the badge holder themselves is the only one that can go into the events.
That is correct.
You are. Yes, absolutely. Everybody that enters the con has to have a badge, whether you're staff, whether you're press, whether you're whoever you are. If you're entourage, it comes with a guest of honor. Every single person will have a badge, and the only badge that adults can get is a regular badge. And so, I've seen and I can imagine certain situations where exceptions could possibly be made, but the general rule is definitely that everybody would have to have a badge. Parents do not get in free because they're with their kid. Generally speaking, definitely.
Cost savings that you have to, in order to get that discounted price for the kid, that a parent has to have a badge attached to it. Sorry, it's just verifying
that sounds like a great idea then.
Yeah, it's even our way of verifying to make sure that person, that that badge was bought by the kid, that there's someone going to supervise that person that is there underage.
Yes, we are definitely not a babysitting service.
That is.
Yeah. And also on that note, just to make sure everybody is clear on that, let me just pop over to our registration page and make sure I get the number right here. But if an attendee is 12 years of age or younger, then they 6 years of age or younger, then they do get in free with a paid adult, and of course they must be accompanied with that parent or guardian the entire time that they are at con. We're not a babysitting service. We do not offer childcare services. So there's no dropping off of anybody that's 6 or under. If you are 7 or 13, you are able to you must be also accompanied with your parent or guardian the entire time. So it's 14 or over where you do not need to have parent or guardian supervision with you at all times, just to make sure everybody's clear on those numbers. Okay, so I think that covers all the general staffing expectations and rules, unless any of the managers want to pipe in with any questions, or if there's any unanswered questions or something that I didn't get to. Okay. Corey?
No, I was just gonna say you're good. Questions, you're good.
Okay, so the last thing I'll cover is staff rooming and room expectations. But before we get to that, there's one thing I want to kind of put a call out for. So first of all, just generally speaking, everybody please be paying attention to Slack, especially from now through the coming months, because things in terms of planning and meetings and things like that are only going to ramp up and get more frequent. So just make sure that you're all paying attention to Slack. And then Corey, unless it's changed when I asked you about it before, basically the hotel should be okay with us putting up any kind of like family-friendly Halloween decorations that we want to sort of like decorate the space. Probably you have to follow the general rules of the hotel about like not taping stuff to the walls and things like that. But anything that's freestanding, anything that we can put up without having to worry about damaging hotel property. If anybody has any any Halloween decorations that you would like to donate to the con, don't necessarily expect to get them back, because we know how that can happen at con. If anybody has anything that they want to bring and donate, that you think would be good for the con, by all means, bring it and kind of have a Thursday night Halloween decorating party, and get the place looking really good. I've said this before, and Corey and I and anybody that's involved in programming, we've all been we'll go and do everything we possibly can to really monopolize on the Halloween theme this year. So, especially for newer people, if you haven't been at the earlier meetings, if you have any ideas for things that the con can do, especially to really just take advantage of the fact it's Halloween, let us know, because we're open to basically all ideas. And then, just as a side note, sort of a pseudo personal thing for my department, but just also to put a call out. One of the things that I definitely want to do better with this year than we have done in previous years is I've sort of made a personal commitment to get as much video footage of this con as possible. It's a source of personal pain that there's just a lot of panels and a lot of stuff from Ciderfest last year that I would love to go back and watch, but just wasn't recorded. We didn't have anybody. We didn't staff videographers like dedicated, and then the one like sort of photographer, like the photographer and videographer team that we had for Ciderfest last year, basically screwed us out of the majority of like all of the video footage that they took, and I'd say half of the pictures that they took, they just popped into the into the ether and disappeared. So there's a bunch of footage out there of stuff that I would really like to have that we just don't. And so this year I have a dedicated videography team working on some solutions to capture video of the con, at least in the main hall. What I'm getting at is if anybody has a decent camera that you would be okay with letting staff use in like the panel rooms to sort of be able to capture and document some of this stuff. If please let us know. because I've got a couple cameras that are being brought in, some of my own, some of the other people on my team. But, we could use a couple more. So if anybody has a camera that they could lend the con so that we could capture it all, that'd be fantastic. Corey, aside from staff rooming, is there anything else that you want to go over?
Let me think off the top of my head. Parking is something that we'll go over later. We'll send stuff out on Slack on where the recommended areas to park are. As most people know, that's unfortunately not one thing they cover. And the parking garage attached to the Hyatt is actually not owned by the Hyatt. So in terms of getting any kind of discounted rates, that place is not the best to go to. And we can go through that. I know like the Wisconsin Center across the street has a $15 lot. There's a few areas we can park for like $5 or $10 overnight. And we can have those posted. It's the same stuff we'll hand out to the attendees. But I think beyond that, I think you covered just about everything else. So there's nothing else off the top of my head.
Okay. So so unless we think of other things that we haven't touched on, any department heads or division directors want to mention anything? Will, I feel like you want to say something about radios. I feel like that's on the tip of your tongue somewhere. I don't know.
Oh yeah, radios. Yeah, don't lose them. There's a 2-second delay. Sign out your radios, or I'm gonna get very upset in the most polite way possible, obviously. If your friend signs out your radio, they're responsible for it. No one signs out someone else's radio and then comes to me and says, well, I never signed it out, so I didn't lose it. There'll be more to come on that as soon as I type something up. But that's the general gist on radios.
Any other department heads want to throw anything into the meeting before we get to staff rooming?
Yeah, I do. There's going to be no sleeping in the game room. That sucker's going to be nice and dark so we have a good atmosphere. And I know that MOP, MSP, I have people falling asleep in there. I'm going to make sure I get a tactical flashlight, and you're going to be waking up pretty damn quick.
Just stick an air horn on them.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think the only other thing to add on radios right quick is just the general etiquette when you're talking through them. Please note that anything on a radio is technically an FAA thing. No swearing, no other shenanigans. Not everyone will have an earpiece. There are enough earpieces to make up for the radios, but some people don't use them. Like some of the people last year didn't use them at all, but I'll gripe on them about that later. Please make sure you're not swearing, anything vulgar. Just be nice on the radios. It's a very simple thing.
Another note about radios, be in mind that the frequencies aren't encrypted, so someone can listen onto it that isn't on staff. So don't say anything that's super, super important over the radio.
Also, I'm just kind of looking at the chat real quick here. We will not be putting a camera into my beard. That is just not a thing to suggest.
I might approve.
Yeah.
That.
So. Pumpkin carving, yeah, we will be doing a lot of kids-related events. I wish Erin was here so she could talk about some of the things we're planning. But we're going to have, obviously, we're having the cosplay contest, but in addition to that, we're trying to see if we can figure out having some sort of like trick-or-treating parade, not only through the con space, but maybe hitting some of the local businesses. We have to take a look and see if there's actually businesses that make sense to do that kind of thing with in walking distance of the con. These are just ideas that we've tossed around, haven't gotten to the actual planning stage yet. Side note, yes, in case anybody's asking, yes, we are going to have a pub trot on Thursday night again this year. It's just we haven't gotten the route and the stops finalized. If you have suggestions on such a thing, please by all means let myself or Danielle from Special Events know. But if anybody's wondering, yes, we will be having a pub trot and announcing details probably within the next, sometime in September. Things like pumpkin carving, bobbing for apples, your general Halloween related stuff. We're certainly going to be looking into. But yeah.
Asking the con will provide a quiet spaces for attendees who may ask for it. I'm a little unclear about the question and why they've been asking for that. I mean, generally the atrium's not really too loud. Downstairs there's the the lobby area, which is a generally quiet area. So the spaces are available. There's not stuff rearing to go 24/7. We don't have a specific dedicated like quiet room though.
I guess there's the headless lounge.
What's that?
I guess the headless lounge may, depending on what we're talking about, may.
The headless lounge, no. The cider lounge though, at times got relatively quiet, so that's an area where people can enjoy some cider, snacks, and watch ponies and their TV in there. The other question here: how much is parking in the attached lot? The parking in the attached lot is $20 a month. It's through Isaac's Parking. I've got it down to that, so it's not much less than the parking across the street. But if you're parking conscious, that's probably one of the more expensive spots in the city to park, unfortunately.
And then and then on our website, on the under the in a submenu for the venue for the hotel, I think we have a page on there with for local parking options. The information that is on there from last year, we may in the coming month, me and Sydney on the website side, we're going to be reviewing that, just making sure it's all accurate. At least you can see what their options were, the prices were for last year.
There's another question, the pub trot, how much it is. I don't think we have a designated answer for that yet. We might charge a nominal fee to find a way to get some really cool things at the local pubs in the area. I don't think we answered that already, but we don't have a specific cost for it yet, if there will be one.
Yeah. The two options for that is, so last year for Ciderfest we didn't have a fee. We had a free ticket that you had to sign to basically for the purpose of signing off on the waivers. It basically says if you're on the pub trot and you wander into traffic because you're drunk, you can't sue the con. So that's one option. The other way, which we did for MLP-MSP, is that there was a fee, but with that fee, you got like a special badge ribbon and like a shot glass and some other cool little things. So there's a couple different ways to approach it. If there is a fee, there will be exclusive items that you get, that go along with it. But like Corey said, we haven't finalized one way or the other yet. Also because that sort of ties into the venues that we end up picking, because a fee might help us do certain things with some of those venues. So yeah, all information that will come. Looks like that's all the questions. So we'll keep an eye on there. But so finally, if you are staying in a staff room, once again, if your name is not on the grid and you need a room, and you and I haven't talked in like the last day or two about needing to get on that grid, that means that I don't know that you need a staff room, because when you fill out your initial application, you said you didn't need staff housing. So please let me know ASAP if your situation has changed since then and you now do need staff housing. For those who are in a staff room, a couple things. So first of all, the Hyatt is not able to take the cost of the room and split that like a restaurant check between multiple people. And so it's all going to be on one bill, and that's just the way the Hyatt's computer systems are put together. So to handle that, we have these things called room captains. So the room captain in each room, on the grid, that's the first person, the name in bold on each of the nights. There's going to be the name that the room is actually under. What that means is that they're responsible for the room because their name is on it. It will be, so if anything happens to the room, just like if they had booked it themselves, all the normal rules that you can think of would apply there. So just make sure that so room captains are sort of entrusted with making sure that they and the other people that are staying in their room and that they let into their rooms with them at a point in time are respecting the hotel property. The room captains will be in charge of putting down a credit card. You can also use a debit card, but I do not recommend it because of the hold that they put on there. It will work, but just be in mind. Corey, do you know off the top of your head what the hold is for putting a debit card down on a room?
Yeah, it's $25 per night.
Per night, okay. So yeah, so if you're there for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, that's $100. So and that's not on a credit card, right? That's only on debit.
Yeah, that's only on debit.
Yeah, so credit card's recommended, but debit will work, just as long as you keep that in mind. So you'll put down a room. and then you will pay for the room, and of course any related fees and or room service and massages that you order up. Of course, all that goes on you guys. And then the room captains will be in charge of then collecting the individual shares, how in whatever method or form you see fit, with the other people sharing your room. So the hour cost for staff for the room nights is $109 a night. And then, of course, that gets divided per night with the number of people in the room. So if there's 2 people in the room, that 109 gets cut in half, and so on and so forth. In a couple, if situations change, now this is sort of the one kind of thing that we can't really do much of anything about. If a staff member so if you got 4 people in a room, and one of those staff members has a problem and needs to leave, just keep in mind that it's kind of amongst you guys to figure out how wise, if for any remaining nights that person will no longer be there for, we can't make that staff member that's leaving pay for shares that he's no longer in the room for, just because of obvious reasons. So just kind of keep that in mind. The room captain, the benefits of being room captain, of course, is that if you care about like credit card points and like frequent hotel points or anything like that, the room, whatever card that you put down, of course, gets all that. So just kind of plus there.
Gold passport membership, I would recommend getting one, or I'll give everybody here my number gladly.
Noted. Let's see. I guess that pretty much covers it. Yeah. So yeah, if you are a room captain, if you have any questions about that I did not cover here, make sure that you let me know. If you are not sure who your room captain is, like I say, take a look at that at the staff housing grid in the staff housing Slack channel, and it's the whoever's name is in bold in your room is who I currently have down to be the room captain. If that needs to change, let me know ASAP.
There's a question in the field here. Spitfire Pony is asking, when will the room grid be finalized / no longer editable? The main thing for that is that it's never really finalized and never really no longer editable. There's a lot of no's and nots. Basically, as long as you guys keep telling us you want to add someone or want to have someone get out of the room or want to come in an extra day or not, or leave an extra day, that can happen all the way up until 24 hours before you arrive. This is a question we had come up before. If you were there and you're there Saturday at 4 o'clock and you're like, oh, well, I don't need Sunday night. If you don't need Sunday night, well, you're going to get charged for it. I believe it's 2 p.m. the night before for the extra night. Beyond that, there's not really a point where the room grid is finalized, so to speak. If your room's finalized, you have everyone in there and you guys aren't changing it, then you can consider that finalized as soon as you guys are done, and that's moved into the finalized section of rooms. Yeah. So another question here. For this hire agency, I've worked with them for many years. I think 6 or 7. They take debit cards here. They take PayPal business debits. They take anything of the sorts. So you don't have to worry about them not taking a debit card, like the hotel place, which seems kind of weird. They definitely do take them and put a little placard with the cute ponies on it that says, the $25 per day. So the hotel is really good about that and letting people know and putting little ponies on there to make you feel a little bit better about the charge.
Does that work? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. From previous years, it does not make me feel any better that they charged $100 to my debit card.
Well, it's a good effort, I guess. Let's see.
Down with cute fuzzy.
Yeah, I guess. With the what now? Yeah, so I guess that's basically everything. In case you are traveling from outside of the area, please do note that this is Wisconsin in the end of October going into November. I can think of maybe 1 or 2 out of the last 10 Halloweens, at least here in Illinois, where it did not rain or snow. So just when you're packing, keep that in mind.
It's always about the time when it also hits the freezing mark too. It doesn't matter. Again, similar thing, rain or snow, and then it hits 32 degrees every time. It could be 70 the day before. That weekend, it's like, oh, guess what? 30 degrees, guys. So plan accordingly. And no, here is not an excuse to warm up, quote unquote.
Corey, question that if you use a debit card and they place a hold on there, does that hold get built into whatever your final charge is, or is the charge separate and then the hold gets released?
So how that works at this hotel is that they don't bill the final bill of the hotel until at the end. It will show up as a separate charge. It will show up as, so if your room's $110 a night and you're here for 3 nights, just pretend there's no tax, $330. You'll see a charge for $330. You'll see a separate charge for the $100. Typically, what will happen over the weekend, usually about Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on your bank. Mine's pretty good about it. You'll see that $100 just wipe away at that point. But yes, it will be the room and tax plus that additional deposit held until that Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
Hope it does not snow like it did last year. I'm gonna knock on wood.
Okay, so if anybody has any questions that have not been answered, I'm staring at the chat right now, so please re-ask them if you have any questions that are still pending. Manager's last chance to pop in with anything that hasn't been covered that you want to make sure everybody knows about.
Snow can just leave now. Jesus.
Yeah, no snow, thank you. I like snow through a window, that's about it. And my home window, not a car window, for God's sake.
That's about it.
If there's enough snow to have a snowball fight, Tim, I'm going to be, well, it's no good. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions come through, and no managers are speaking up, so... Joe, thank you. I'll check any personal messages and Slack stuff later, but thank you for the message that you sent me about what that is. Okay. So before we go, once again, Corey and I just want to thank everybody for giving up your free time to help out with this. Especially to people that are contributing their free time before the con has even started. I want to throw a special shout out to my art team. They've been coming up with some great art for all the guest announcements we've had so far. So thanks to everybody there. Thanks to my PR and website folks who've been just keeping all that, making it so I don't have to do it all this year. So that's fantastic. Thank you. Let's see. So to everybody else. Again, managers, if you have not already had a staff meeting, I suggest you do so, just so everybody can get to know each other ahead of con, just to go over any specific staffing responsibility questions or anything like that. Had a question about pre-reg for Thursday. If the question was about time for pre-reg on Thursday, it's going to depend mainly on when we have access to the space. Whether it's just setting up some temporary tables to make sure that people are able to pre-reg and get their badges, especially if they're going on the pub trot, which will probably start at 7. As far as when pre-reg starts, it's going to depend on a couple factors, but I would anticipate 4 to 5, just depending on when reg staff show up and when we have access to the areas.
And I can always double check as we're going through the week before. That's usually when we'll know if there's any events at the Hyatt. They'll let me know when their contract ends. Ours technically starts at 5 p.m. for that main ballroom on Thursday. But if there's no events leading into that week, they will actually set that up for us on Wednesday night and have it ready to go for us that Thursday morning. But again, can't hold them to that until the week of.
And then I believe that we said earlier at a previous meeting, Corey and Server Rat, that staff badges and shirts and all that will be picked up in operations and the registration. Is that what we agreed on?
That's my plan for this year.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to pick them up.
Yep. Yep. So staff, when you arrive, as soon as you're ready to actually check in with the convention, your first stop should be at ConOps. If you are familiar with this hotel at all, it is the giant manager suite that's on that first floor above the atrium. Like if you've got your elevators like behind you to the left here, and you're in the area, if you were there last year, where we had like the sing along and like the Renegade stage, it's that like first balcony all the way over to like directly across kitty corner from where the elevators are. I think that's like what, the 4th floor, Corey? Is that right?
That is the 3rd floor, so you can
3rd
just
floor.
yeah, you can just take either there's a set of stairs on the left-hand side that you can pick up over by like his programming last year, I believe, on that far left, like alcove corner, or you can take the set of stairs across from the elevator and stairs, use staffing stairs for that, not clog up going up one floor. Leave the elevators for attendees because those at busy times get pretty clogged. If you do need to, you're welcome to take the elevator up to the 3rd floor. Once you get out the elevator, go as far right as you can. You literally run into con ops and can't go anywhere else.
Well, and all the stuff like this, we'll have one more meeting probably before a con. So as far as like specific things, like where to pick up stuff, where to go, and things like that, we'll repeat all that stuff when we get closer. So don't worry about committing all that stuff completely to memory at this time.
Also, a note when you're picking up your badge, I need to see either the Eventbrite confirmation or photo ID, or there's no badge unless someone else, like the con chair, say you're good. I'm just saying. Or if I know you. That's about it.
And Will is very adamant about that.
Very.
As he should be. Jose is asking a question. Would the shirts fit right? Like working volunteer at Philicon, the large shirts fit me pretty tight compared to my normal large shirts. They'll probably just be your standard Hanes T-shirts. So they won't be like athletic fit or anything like that. So they should be your typical sizing.
Just go on there and check out their Gildan sizes. You can even look up a Gildan large, and that'll tell you the approximate dimension for it.
Right. If anybody needs to change the shirt size that they put down when you did your staff badge, let me know. We can adjust that up until we order the shirts. Spitfire Pony. It's Frederick is heading up video games. I think looks like questions are good here. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, Corey, I want to thank everybody for giving up your free time to help out with the convention. We greatly appreciate it. To the people who are helping out beforehand, to the people that are helping out at and after con too. It's we couldn't do it without you guys. So I definitely don't want any of you to ever think that you're not appreciated. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, make sure that you let us know. I try and be as responsive as possible on Slack to questions. Never hesitate. Open door virtual Slack channel door policy. If you ever have any questions, make sure to let me know. And once again, if you're not sure about anything in regards to your responsibilities or duties at the con, make sure to check in with your department head. If you don't know who your department head is, you can ask in your department channel on Slack, or there's the staff listing that you can find on the website. Something just popped in my head and I forgot it already. Yeah, I think that's it then. Last chance, Corey. Anybody else? Anything you want to mention?
Nope. Not off the top of my head. There was one last question there. Someone wants to purchase a second shirt. I said, yep, you can get a second one, or if you want extras, let me know. We just charge the rate we get charged, which is like $6 and some change. We won't charge you the $15 for one. So just let us know, or let your manager know, and we'll make sure to order that for you.
Okay.
But I think you covered everything else. Yeah. I mean, again, the gratuitous thank yous. I mean, we couldn't do this. Me and Charlie couldn't do it alone. We could. It would really, really suck. And I still don't think that'd be possible because our art would not look good by any means.
No, God, no. I don't know about. I've never seen Corey attempt to draw, but I've seen myself attempt to draw, and I tried it once and didn't go back. So yeah, no, thank you.
Scar you for life. So no. Yeah. So needless to say, that's one of the very few areas that we would not be able to do without you guys. And we super appreciate it, and for more fun to come.
Yes. Just to address a question. Yes. So last year there was a kids sing along with Ashley and Rebecca. It wasn't impromptu. It was actually scheduled. It was an event that was in the con book. But yeah, we're not sure if we're gonna be able to do something similar to that this year, just because we don't have guests coming that are very vocal heavy. At least at this time, things can change. But Yeah, anything's possible. But yeah, that was a great event. I wish so much I had video of that, but c'est la vie. I should look around YouTube actually. Somebody might have video up there. Okay, anyways, so thanks very much, everybody. And if you have any questions, once again, please let us know. Yeah, keep an eye on Slack. And okay, I'm gonna cut it. Thanks. Everybody have a good night.